Now, my game is flawed because of the fact that when I press start, it always comes off as a mirror image, whether it comes off the paddle or whether it comes off the block. The angle is always going to be the same. This is a mathematician's dream, not the other type of dream. A mathematician's dream of parallelograms, and the fact that that angle that the ball's about is never going to change. It's always, what, about, I don't know, 30 degrees? But there is a way of changing it. And I think, to be honest with you, I find that this is kind of a little bit difficult to perhaps explain. What I want to do is I want to focus on the idea that the ball has a position on the x-axis and the paddle has a position on the x-axis, and at this moment in time, the middle of that ball, if you look at the x value, the middle of that ball there could be, say, 20, and the middle of that paddle there is going to be sort of 30. So if I were to say the position of this ball is 20 and this one is 30, if I take the position of that ball, take away the position of the paddle, that gives me minus 10, which creates an angle that it goes minus 10 is kind of that way. So instead of doing pointing direction 180 minus direction, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, actually, pointing direction, not 180 minus direction. I still want to use the minus. I want to choose, I'm on the ball, so it's going to be my x position, take away the x position of the paddle, and you can get that from sensing here. Okay, the x position not of the ball but of the paddle. So now if I point in direction, you can see that in this particular case, x position here, when the ball is to the left, it will be a negative figure. When the ball is to the right of the paddle, it will be positive. If you think about up being 0, this is going to work. Just watch. Okay, goes off like that. I hit it with the middle of the bat, and it goes pretty straight. And I hit it with the outside of the bat, and it goes off like that. And I catch it with the very outside, and you can see what it does. But to be honest with you, that's not really giving me much sort of like that or like that. So all I've got to do is point in direction here, and I could do maybe something like I could multiply this effect out a bit. So if I were to put, say, a 2 in there, if the difference between the x position of the ball and the x position of the paddle is 10, by putting it 2 times I get minus 20. So that's going to exacerbate the hitting the paddle cleanly. Look, if I get it in the middle, it goes up pretty straight. But now, if I try and catch this next one right on the edge, it begins to exacerbate that. Maybe some people might say, well, actually, not enough. Let's make that 4 times. Let's try what happens here. And this could go a bit mad, actually. Well, I think that's going to, if I really catch it on the edge. That wasn't on the edge. Try and get it right on the edge. There we go. It goes really flat. Actually, I quite like 4 times. I think that works rather nicely. So I'm going to stop this one here and give you the opportunity to choose. I'm going to make mine 3. I think it was a bit too much, especially if I'm going to explain some more videos. I'm going to give you the opportunity there to play with the paddle and the direction the ball bounces off the paddle. I said that was going to be difficult. I think in the end that wasn't too tough. Anyway, off you go.